course, people are pretty excited about East Broken Bow. In fact, RJ was just in from the Aero Hotel and Bonfire, and you know, they're thinking there'll be some crews coming in here one of these days, and they'll be staying in hotels and eating some food and staying here for a year or so. That's pretty exciting.
You're going to see about, we roughly estimate about 100 temporary workers for about a 6-month period, maybe even a little bit longer, depending on what their weather conditions they run into, just how quickly they can get the wind farm up. And they're expecting to start working out there in October of next year. Once that's completed, I don't know what Edison Mission and Midwest Wind plan to do on number of permanent employees, but usually that runs anywhere from 5 to 10 employees on a permanent basis to service the wind farm. The technicians do the repair work, do the maintenance work throughout the operations of the facility.
I'm glad you clarified that, because sometimes people in their exuberance will talk about 20 and 30 people being left behind after it's built, and that's just not the case, yeah. But you hear that occasionally.
Yeah, so, I give you an example. Our Ainsworth wind farm is 60 megawatts. We've got 6 technicians and a supervisor out at Ainsworth. So it's some people get excited, they hear certain numbers, but you have to put it in some realistic perspective. There's not going to be a whole lot, but in small communities,
hey,
5 to 10 jobs is
pretty big.
And these are technicians. They get paid pretty well. They have to do a lot of education and training to understand how to maintain these turbines. And it is not it's a young man's job. A lot of climbing.
Yeah, I saw
a lot of physical.
At the tour, I'm thinking this is not something all of us could do. Yeah. Rick, here locally now, in your end of it, I know transmission lines are a big part of the puzzle here. How involved will you be with that from your office as far as getting transmission lines set up, working with the different entities to get that done?
Well, I won't be that involved in the transmission part of it. They're going to need some distribution. We'll build out to their building. I'm assuming at the substation they'll have a building, or they'll need some type of service out there. NPPD will be handling the transmission, and in fact, the end of October, I think we'll have some MPPD people here to talk about that. Another thing to kind of distinguish is, it's kind of up to Midwest Wind and Edison Mission. They're actually the ones that own it and are going to be operating it. So, when we're talking about number of bodies and construction and that kind of thing, that's kind of up to them. Mark's comments are more general.
In general,
in
sure.
nature, so.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
But yeah, we're like I said, end of this month I think there's a meeting, isn't
there? In early November, we will have an open house on what we call preferred and alternative routes for the transmission line. We're also going to, I think on that last Friday, we're going to have a meeting here with the community leaders too as well, to tell them where we stand on the project.
Right.
And I think we're going to be over here that day, and I can tell you we have a new project manager, Jack Steiner, who was charged for retired.
Yep.
And we bid him farewell last Friday night, as a matter of fact.
Good.
So we have a new project manager by the name of Jed Fisher, and I think we'll have to turn the lights down when Jed gets here to bounce off the top of the head pretty well. Radiate immensely.
Well,
Jed's a good guy, though.
We're ready for that.
Yeah.
Well, this is all good news, and one of the questions, a couple different questions, Mark. First, I know there was a lot of negotiation taking place, and you've been very, very careful about making sure the information is there for people to absorb concerning all the different facets of this. It went pretty well all in all with the landowners and the community to this point?
I think it's been exceptional out here. We've been well received by the Broken Bow community. We've met with the landowners numerous times. We're sort of on our last phase of working with the landowners. We're going to start a transition process from MPPD to Midwest Wind. We've sort of started that. Midwest Winds have been out looking at locations, doing environmental work that they needed to do, some siting, some surveying of the area out there. So when that October date comes, after basically after the harvest season, they're going to be ready to go, and you know, and we're going to be working over the next actually the next couple of weeks with the landowners about switching over from MPPD to Midwest Wind.
Yeah, once that power purchase agreement was signed, that's kind of the trigger to
Move forward.
pass from MPPD to Midwest Wind.
Yeah, and I think the landowners have been exceptionally good about it. They have, the ones that are involved have organized. That's probably the best thing to happen, because when they sit down and start negotiations with the developer, what they don't want to have happen is negotiate with 40 different landowners who all want different amounts. They're going to go in together as a working group, which I think is a really smart way to go about it.
That sounds good. Now, from strictly a selfish question here, since, as you know, I'm involved on the zoning board, the planning commission, permit process will begin here now that the trigger has started, I assume, down the road as far as permits go and so forth?
Yeah, that'll be all up to Midwest Wind as the mission, meet all the requirements of Custer County on their process. That would include even the building of a service building.